Here's CNBC. World edgy on Korea. Russia sees colossal danger. Major powers express concern and alarm at North Korea's shelling of South Korean island today. It goes on. Among North Korea's neighbors, Russia said it saw colossal danger of an escalation in fighting on the Korean peninsula, and China said it was imperative to resume six-party talks aimed at ending the North's nuclear weapons program. And it just continues on from there. We're going to be covering more of that coming up. Wayne Madsen is joining us in about an hour and 10 minutes from now to give us his expert early look and view on this. We'll obviously learn more as it develops and unfolds. Ron Paul scheduled to be coming up later in this hour, and Judge Andrew Napolitano pops in the last hour today. We'll also cover the latest TSA situation ahead of one of the busiest flight days of the year coming up in T-minus 2 days on Thursday.
So many things going
This
on
Korea situation is so big, it's so dangerous. Some would liken it to, oh, that's just like the Arabs and Israelis always killing each other. This is different because both sides have giant mechanized militaries. And they have only had a few skirmishes like this in the last 50-plus years. And I was reading in the Associated Press, they were going over the history of this. This may be the biggest fracas or escalation in the entire history since the truce. This is simply a ceasefire. There's not been an armistice. There's not been any formal agreement. It is a ceasefire. Kind of like there was a ceasefire right before the Tet Offensive in Vietnam that lasted just a few days. Well, this one has lasted 50-plus years. And many of my great uncles and family fought in Korea. I know you've got a lot of family out there who fought in Korea. This is a very serious situation. 56,000 Americans died in that short conflict. Very, very serious situation. The North are a bunch of brainwashed, cult-like drones who will and have proven they will march right into machine gun fire. We were, of course, fighting China back during that event as well, Chinese regulars. China is, of course, supplying the South, North Korea to its south, against South Korea. And we're going to get Ron Paul's take on this, the TSA, quantitative easing too, and a lot more. Obviously, later I'm going to get into the TSA situation. The Drudge Report, drudgereport.com, has Kurt Nemo's story from Infowars.com up there. Day number 2, going over the fact, are trains and buses next? And when you read the article, you find out trains and buses are already being searched. Now they're announcing they want mobile naked body scanners on the highways, at the trains and bus terminals. You know, the pretext is anything that Al-Qaeda ever talks about hitting, we've got to put federal minimum wage goons at. Now TSA workers are complaining. I've been talking about this for 2 weeks, the unsanitary nature of the blue gloves searching multiple people. You could get crabs, you could get diseases, you could get flesh-eating bacteria, you could get other forms of mites. And I've also pointed out how this is abusive to the TSA workers. Well, WorldNet Daily covered the unsanitary nature of the gloves today. Glad somebody covered it. Glad somebody took the cue to write stories about it. So we've got that important issue. The TSA workers are also saying, that's the headline, we hate obese passengers and people with personal hygiene issues. Now abused TSA staff vent their anger at pat-downs. And they say, we don't like sticking our hands down people's pants. We don't like having to go up under people's fat rolls. We don't like having to mess with medical sutures. Since when does the government go into bandages and probe them like a medical doctor? Since when do they remove colostomy bags and urology bags, artificial bladders on the outside of people? Please don't touch that. Please don't pull on it. Oops, sorry. Urine's pouring out. TSA just says, clean yourself up. searching little 5-year-olds in public, pulling women's fake breasts out who've had mastectomies, sticking their hands down people's pants. Now that we force the sticking the hands down the pants into public debate, the head of the TSA said, that's wrong. We're going to change that policy. See, they tried to quietly set the precedent and stick their hands down our pants and thought we'd just go along. But by speaking out and saying no, they're having to back out. Now, will they stage an event? Last week, the German plane was a, quote, U.S. firm testing security. They won't say who. That was a drill. You got a drill with this North Korea situation triggering. They always use a drill. And they had drills going before they attacked the Russian-controlled enclaves of South Ossetia and Abkhazia 2 years ago, trying to get war going. Drill, 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 drill. They use drills. Because most people on the ships, most people in the airports, they're compartmentalized. They don't know what's going on. They don't understand what's happening. They just go along with all of this. But I've studied the globalist psychology. I know how they operate. I know what their game plan is. We'll continue to break it down, but that's coming up. Now the TSA are saying they're victims, and they're trying to unionize. They have a union now in the last few months. They just got one, but they're trying to say no to all of this. Now, some Republicans want private people searching us, but I don't want private people sticking their hands down my pants either. You know what? I'd rather face the danger than live as a slave. We'll be right back. Stay with us. TSA has a free app. You don't know they're giving you real info, but they are reporting on the app and in the news. Record-long lines in L.A., Chicago, JFK, New York, and other areas. And that's fine. Bring it all to a halt. Bring airline travel to a halt. Make the airlines lose money, make the hotels lose money, because the feds want to slowly strangle industry and commerce and tourism. We want to have it all come at once, kind of like a fever, to shake off this bug, this disease of big government over transportation. Instead of a slow death, we want to have a big fever, bring it all to a head, lance the boil. It'll be ugly at first, but you're already losing, according to the federal government's own admissions, $9 billion a year, every year, 2006, 7, 8, 9, into this year. And they're estimating over $40 billion to be lost this year. Over a third of the foreigners that would come here for vacation from Western Europe and other areas, tourism's down by a third overall. That's just the base number. You can pull those numbers up. You can just search the term tourism down by over a third. This is killing us. You got a better chance of dying from a bee sting. Government admits that. I mean, do we have checkpoints in every field in case a bee flies out to a school and sits on some steps and you sit on them? I mean, how many times as a child playing in the woods or playing out in the backyard did I sit down on a bench and have a bee sting me? I mean, we used to fight with ping pong paddles for entertainment. We'd run up with water guns and spray bushes and eaves of houses that had yellow jacket and wasp nests and have them chase us. Talk about excitement. And I got stung a lot. Come home, Mom put hydrogen peroxide on it. Of course, I know why folks are scared of bees. I always thought it was no big deal till I was, I guess, 20 years old, working on a garden in the backyard, and there were some Africanized bees, and I probably got stung 30, 40 times. I don't know. I had all these stingers in my head, and I swole up bright red, got in the shower, poured baking soda on myself, couldn't breathe, was about to call 911, and then it kind of reversed itself. So I understand, kids, you shouldn't have wars with bees and yellow jackets. The point is that, you know, the issue here is you got a much bigger danger. Are we going to have a federal bureaucracy every 10 feet with guys in hazmat suits and, you know, like little laser guns to, you know, that hone in and kill all bees, and have like troop carriers landing everywhere and invading countries? We've got bees in Germany. We got bees in Russia. Invade. You know, giant troop carriers landing, troops running off. Oh, get the bees. There's a beehive. You know, if they kill one American, we got to get rid of all bees. You know, it's. I mean, maybe put little turbans on the bees in like, you know, posters and TV ads. This is Al-Qaeda. They killed hundreds of people last year in the U.S. alone. They're deadly. You never know where they're hiding. They're in every town, every city. They may be in your backyard. Honeybees, other Al-Qaeda operatives, red wasp, even hornets, known as the Osama bin Laden hornet. They're green and yellow and can kill. Deadly black wasp, deadly brown wasp, burrowing wood wasp, red ants, fire ants. Pull up the numbers, in fact, for me. Numbers of deaths a year, be a fire ant. Numbers of deaths per year, bee stings. I know it's in the 100. And I mean, literally, we need TV ads. Fear it. They're everywhere. They're killing hundreds. Oh, my gosh. Ah, run for your lives. The bees are attacking. Ah, the bees are everywhere. I'm sorry. Oh, my gosh. It's so ridiculous. But they don't teach you to fear the bees. They teach you to, men with turbans, Muslims, but the government's bringing in record numbers. Oh, that's fine. Get me. I'm too weak. Help me. I want to get your take on the North Korean situation. I want to recap that right now. I want to take calls specifically only on the North Korea situation. I want to talk about that. I want to get your view on what's happening and then recap those developments. The toll-free number to join us is 800-259-9231. 800-259-9231 will get you up and on the air there on the Genesis phone system. Now, if you just joined us, technically this happened when it was still midnight in some time zones of the United States, or before midnight, so it happened on Monday night here, but it happened on Tuesday over in Asia, because they're the day starts over there in Australia, basically, if you look at the time zones. Or it's the next day. It actually starts, I guess, Greenwich Mean Time. The point is, it happened on Tuesday over there, Monday over here. That minutia doesn't matter. Getting into it here, breaking: South Korea threatens retaliation against North. Don't forget, Rand lobbies Pentagon start war to save U.S. economy. South Korea says its test fired in the area before North Korea. There's evidence that that missile that was fired, of course, a few weeks ago was China. All sorts of bizarre stuff going on. Hours and hours of exchange from fire, with the North firing into an island, a South Korean island, killing at least 2 Marines and injuring a whole bunch of other people. The skirmish began when North Korea warned the South to halt military drills in the area, according to South Korean officials, when Seoul refused and began firing artillery into disputed waters. Albeit away from North Korean shore, the North retaliated by bombarding the small island, which houses South Korean military installations and small civilian population. North Korea has threatened, if anything else happens, an all-out attack on Seoul, which is just within artillery range of the North and the DMZ, the demilitarized zone. The North promised a deadly counterstrike if anything happens. The Russians are calling this a colossal danger. I tend to agree. This could trigger a major regional conflict. I agree with Ron Paul, the congressman. We should completely stay out of this and say, hey, Japan, South Korea, China, you guys all just, you get into it with each other. We have already lost 56,000 Americans over there in that war. We have already had conflict ongoing. We do not need to be part of this. But I made the point to Ron Paul. You notice the dollar shot back up today. You notice the Rand Corporation and neocons have been in the news telling Obama, have a war with Iran, have a war with others. This will boost you. He's got his advisors telling him that. That's on record. And I think where there's smoke, there's fire. There's a good chance this was staged. We don't know. But they may have been firing that artillery, right into the shoreline. They were very close, and they admit that. And the North are complete lunatics, very dangerous. They're puppets of China. And you've got a lot of jockeying going on. China uses North Korea as a proxy. The West, the United States and others use South as a proxy. Japan uses them as a proxy, though the Koreans and the Japanese hate each other as well because of past Japanese abuses. So it's just an ongoing crisis. And right now, today, tomorrow, the next week, anytime, if any U.S. ships or South Korean ships get near North Korea, they're going to start attacking again, and this could escalate into a very serious situation very quickly. And it's the perfect distraction as the open world government's being announced, as Europe's being swallowed up by the global banks, as Ireland's being swallowed up, as domestically all these things happen. The whole globalist agenda's in trouble. They need a war as a distraction. Every time there's global meltdowns, they start a war. We're online for one. We've been predicting one. This could be it.